All right, my friends, get comfortable. This is going to be a big one, but it's going to be a fun one, and I think it's going to be really, really worth your time. In this one, we are talking about 10 wealth commandments that made me a millionaire in my early 30s, but most importantly, how was I able to do it while having a blast along the way? I'm not going to give you some plan that tells you have to scrimp and save every cent, that you can't travel, that you can't live in nice places, that you can't have nice cars, that you can't eat out at restaurants. You want to enjoy it, right? We literally don't know when our time here is up. It could be today. Fuck, who knows, right? And so for me, it's not about trading one for the other. It's about let's find a way to make both work. And there's a key lesson in that is going to be covered in this one. Okay, I've also got 2 bonus ones for you at the end, so I've ultimately got 12. Any one of these can shift things for you in a big, big way. Use them all, you'll be absolutely flying. All right, let's dive into it. Okay, so admission. All right, I'm old when it comes to internet land, right? I'm 33. Holy shit. You go on Instagram, I'm like a fucking dinosaur, right? I'm not 18. I'm not in my early 20s anymore, but a quick little Google, right? And don't believe everything you read on the internet, but quick little Google told me that the average millionaire is 57 years old, okay? Give or take, right? So I did beat the average millionaire by a decent chunk over 20 years, okay? And like I said off the top, I did that while having a blast along the way, being able to actually spend time with my friends, family, travel the world, partied a good amount, eat out all the time, live by the beach. I got a nice car, right? You can have it all, okay? If you're prepared to follow a solid plan, if you're prepared to put in the work, all right? So with that all said, let's jump into it. Commandment number 1, the North Star system. Okay, now, if you ignore everything else in this video, or if you're like one of those people on YouTube who clicks around and you're already looking at what comes up next because I haven't given you like the Super System 8000 already to make $1 million, take this away, please. Please, 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 please. The North Star system, this is the ultimate hack. Okay, pick one target and then do not stop until you hit it, okay? Along the way, I'm going to give you some examples. Along the way, you can change up the strategy. You can shift the tactics. You can mix up the day-to-day. But please, stop moving the goalposts. Every time you move the goalposts, you lose momentum, okay? Pick one, right? Make it something that actually means something to you. Then put your head down and do not stop until you hit it, okay? Eliminate the time factor. Make it something that is worth so much to you that time doesn't really matter. You just have to achieve that thing, okay? Then simply rinse and repeat that process. 2 things will happen. 1, you'll build a ton of momentum, and 2, you'll build a ton of self-confidence. The self-confidence is born out of the self-trust that comes from picking the North Star and hitting it, picking the North Star and hitting it, picking the North Star and hitting it, okay? Now, if you're somebody who over and over again in life, be that trying to start a business, trying to grow a business, health and fitness, whatever, if you're somebody that consistently picks goals and then quits, start with a smaller North Star. Get used to this system, get some wins under your belt, and then pick up momentum along the way, okay? Bonus points, and we're going to dive into this further into the presentation as well. Share the goal and document the process, okay? Put it out into the world. Make it public. I ran a program called the Super Affiliate Accelerator for years. We put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people through it. The very first thing I got them to do when they joined was a public accountability post on their Facebook profile, on their Instagram profile that said, "I'm doing this thing. Here's how I'm going to be implementing it. Here's my goals, etc., etc." Because we put it out into the world, it's way more likely to happen. You're way more likely to stick to it. Okay, but this alone can change everything, right? I put a little picture here on the right-hand side of 3 different awards that I've won in my online journey. Each one of those at a different point in time for me was a North Star. The big steering wheel thing, that was my first one ever. Now, I was told when I went into the training for that it should take about 100 days. It took me 18 months, right? I tried a lot of different strategies. I tried a lot of different tactics. I mixed up the day-to-day, but I didn't move the North Star. Okay, pick one, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It can start with simple shit like awards, like, external things. Over time, it can become more dialed, more refined, and more advanced. But keep it simple to begin with and start to use this system, and it will serve you very, very well. Okay. Number 2, adventure feeds success. All right. Now, I was talking off the top how I've been able to do this while having a blast along the way. And that's because I firmly, firmly believe this. Right. And there's so many reasons for this, and I could make an entire presentation on this topic alone. But when you get out into the world, when you leave the town that you grew up in, you see things in a different way, right? You open your eyes, and when you open your eyes, you open your mind. Okay. You will see opportunity. You will see possibility. You will see abundance that regardless of where you live, you aren't going to see when you sat on your ass in the place where you grew up. Okay. When you then document that adventure and let it fuel your story, things go to a whole new level, right? You can build your network around the world, right? Some of these photos, this is me with 2 of my clients in New York. We're at a bar under the Empire State Building. This is me with another dude who currently lives in Portugal. He's from the UK, Josh Cousins, awesome guy. And then here's just me on the right on a little trip with Hendrik and Liana, right? But we're getting out into the world and we're seeing things and we're enjoying it along the way. This will fuel your business more than sitting in a little shoebox that doesn't inspire you. Because 1, you spend money, therefore you've got to go out and find a way to make money so that you can actually afford it. 2, it opens your eyes to the world. And 3, when you become someone who's really interesting, when you become someone who's out there doing stuff that other people want to do, you become someone that they want to follow. And that's really, really, really important. Okay. And that's going to be a future point that we touch on shortly. Okay. A little tip here, create a business that grows when you travel. Create something that you can build that travel content in to the business. So people are like, I wonder what Jacob's up to now. I wonder what Jacob's up to now. Where's he off to now? Right. Make adventure part of the business. And then it all becomes this one. When you achieve this, you don't really have like work and life, or work and vacation. It's all just becomes one thing, right? Like I don't even really think about the weekends anymore. It's just all life, and it's all amazing, and it's all a lot of fun, right? So find a way to bring it all together so that you can get out there and travel, and it's not detracting from the business. It's actually adding to the business. That's a key point to not only being able to build wealth, but be able to have a blast along the way. So it's not about penny pitching. It's about how can I create experiences that bring a lot of other people along on the journey with me and are going to open my eyes to the possibility, the abundance, the opportunity that exists in the world. Okay. I can tell you for a fact, I spent 2 years working in New York. Some people may know that. My business and my life would not be where it is today if I didn't do that. If I didn't pack up my life from Brisbane, where I grew up, and moved to the other side of the world, having never been there before, taking a job that was, very different in terms of the legal systems, different set of skills, etc., etc. If I didn't put myself into that very stressful situation and trust myself to figure it out, there's no way I'm here today. Moving and going on that adventure changed the course of my life forever, because I saw stuff that there was no way I was ever going to see that in Australia. I saw the opportunity that's out there. I saw the abundance that's out there, right? So get on the move and build everything around it, all right? Number 3, become someone worth paying, okay? Increase your value, increase your bank, all right? Increase your knowledge, learn stuff, buy courses, read books, invest in coaching programs, become part of masterminds, pay mentors, increase your knowledge. The more you know, the more valuable you will become, all right? And then that will increase your bank. Increase your results. This is the implementation of the knowledge, right? In whatever field you're in or whatever field you move into, build more social proof, increase your testimonials, right? Become someone that gets shit done. Become someone that sets those North Stars and achieves it. Become someone who helps other people achieve their goals in whatever field it may be. It could be health and fitness. It could be money, whatever, right? Along the way, become a better leader. Become somebody that people want to follow. Become somebody that's inspiring. Become somebody that's motivational. Become somebody who lives a life and has philosophies and views that people look up to, and they go, I want to be like that person. Lead, right? And become a better leader. Learn to impact more people, okay? Increase your reach and impact, right? become known by more people. That's a standalone point we're about to touch on. But get out in front of more people. These all help you become somebody worth paying, right? If people don't see any value in what it is that you do or who you help or the things that you've done, the achievements that you've made, the experience that you've got, the skills you've got, why would they pay you, right? Do cool shit, learn cool shit, live a desirable life, be a real person, share that back with the world. That's what social media is for, right? And amazing things happen, right? Like you can get a message here that says, send me the link for payment. If I pay $2,000 up front today, okay, if I pay the remaining $7,600 up front in 2 weeks. This is normal for me. Waking up to DM saying, send me the link to pay you thousands of dollars. I don't say that to boast. I don't say that to brag. It's just the reality, because I've become somebody worth paying. Over years and years and years and years and years, I've increased my knowledge. I've increased my skills. I've helped countless people. I've become a better leader. I've built my audience. I've done cool shit. I've built a life that I love, and I share that with my audience every day, right? There's another little example here, and I've got a whole separate video on this. This is a message I sent to a friend. How much have you made with that Google Ads approach now? Revenue, $528,000 since 2019. There's a little tactic that I shared with him over a Zoom call in 10 minutes, and he's turned that into $528,000, right? Knowledge like that, skills like that, tactics like that. That's why I'm somebody worth paying, and that's why I'm able to make money online through my brand. That's what you need to do. You need to become somebody worth paying. Increasing your knowledge, increasing your results, increasing your testimonials, increasing your leadership skills, increasing your reach and impact, doing cool shit, setting targets and actually achieving them, living a desirable life, building a desirable life, being clear about exactly what it is that you want and then going after it and sharing that story and sharing that journey with the world along the way. Okay. Number 4, become known. This ties into what we were just talking about before. You can build all those skills and you can increase your value, but if nobody knows who you are, then nobody can pay you. Okay, it doesn't, and you don't have to go from 0 to hundreds of thousands. Start with 100, then 1,000, then 10,000. Right? Relatively, right now my audience isn't that big, right? But if you never stop building that audience, you should know that along the way you can make it very, very profitable, right? Like I've turned audiences of thousands, tens of thousands into millions and millions of dollars if you do it correctly. Just keep nudging it every single day. Every day you want a few more people to know who you are. And the people who do know who you are already, you want them to know a little bit more about you. You want them to go a little bit deeper on that journey with you. Okay, so keep increasing the width every day, the width of the audience, the number of people, while increasing the depth of your skills, the depth of your knowledge, the depth of your experience, and what people know about you who are already in your audience. Okay, when you do that and then you match it with the offers, aka you create offers from that experience, from those results, that's when cool shit really, really happens. Okay, so become known. Audience plus value equals dollars. All right, number 5, opportunity vision. Okay, now this may sound slightly contradictory to point number 1 around the North Stars, but there's a bit of balancing act here. Okay, and look, if you're early on, maybe ignore this point, but this can be really, really powerful for having those big quantum leaps. All right. This is about learning the art of balancing focus on your North Star while still being able to, at the end of the day, for like 20 minutes, sit back, look at the market, look at the opportunities that exist out there. Is there something that has the potential to yield such a big ROI that maybe I should put my North Star on hold briefly, and I got a story for you in a second, right? Or is there an opportunity here that I could compound into my current North Star and where I'm going currently, right? When you spot these opportunities by paying attention to the market, paying attention to what people are doing, paying attention to what people are not doing, you can create these huge quantum leaps, okay? 3 really, really quick examples for you. First one, KBB. That was a launch I did back in 2019. I made $100,000 in a day. At that time, I had a different North Star. I was working towards becoming a platinum affiliate with another program, the first high-ticket affiliate program I got involved with. But I saw such a big opportunity with Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, and Dean Graziosi all doing a launch together that I put that North Star on hold for a month, and it made me $100,000 in a day. It built me a ton of credibility in the affiliate space because I beat some of these huge names with way bigger audiences because I had this opportunity vision. Okay. Number 2. When I was ticking along being an affiliate, I saw a huge gap in the market for somebody who would bring a real world approach to teaching how to do affiliate marketing, right? That's where my program that I used to run called the Super Affiliate Accelerator was born out of. That became $1 million program in about 13 months, and we put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people through it. That wasn't about me changing my North Star. That became a North Star off the back of what I'd already done. I was in a phase where I was figuring out what the next North Star would be. Right? Then no call closing. You guys might have heard me talk about this. Selling without sales calls. This is something that I've been doing for the last couple of years while the entire market preaches book sales calls, book sales calls, book sales calls. We've been going along closing $5, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 deals via text, right? This is a very, very appealing different path for people who are sick of having a calendar full of sales calls and they can't get out there and actually fucking live an adventure because they're tied to their desk all day. They can't become a leader that people really want to follow because they're tied to their desk all day, right? So look for these opportunities that maybe the North Star is worth putting on hold briefly. You've got to go back to it. This is why it's a more advanced tactic. Or the direction you're moving in, is there an opportunity that exists now that you can roll into it to create a really, really big leap? Okay, opportunity vision, really, really powerful. All right, number 6, create constraints. All right, secret to the good life. All right. If you want an outcome, conventional wisdom says go find someone who's done it and just kind of copy them, right? This whole funnel hacking culture online. Don't reinvent the wheel. Sure, that's fine. But if the only methods out there or the only mainstream methods out there is something that you don't want to do, you don't have to do it that way. You can create constraints and go find another way, go find a better way, go find a new way, right? It will take work. You will cop arrows in the back, but the reward is huge, okay? And the result or the outcome is that you get the result that you wanted and you do it on your terms, right? This allows you to not only create success, but create success in the way that you want to do it, not how somebody else wants to do it, okay? Example, I put it over here, right? Just what we were talking about. Being able to sell without sales calls. I did sales calls for a long time. I got fed up of having them in my calendar. I got fed up of no-shows. I got fed up of being on the phone trying to convince people and handling objections. And I just didn't want to do it anymore. I wanted a clear calendar. I wanted to be able to actually work with my clients. I wanted to be able to spend my days creating content, not on the phone to people one by one. It lacks leverage. And I didn't want to go and build a big team to do it for me, right? So I created the constraint of, well, if I'm going to get clients, I need to be able to do it without sales calls. Then I went out and I paid mentors, I bought courses, I built my own systems and refined to the point that now we close, 3K, 5K, 10K, 20K, blah, 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 deals without sales calls. So create the constraint to give you what you ultimately want and then do the work to iterate it until you get the outcome that you want with that approach. Because then you've got both things. Then you've got the outcome and you've got the approach to do it. Okay? Create constraints. This is the secret to the good life. Number 7, build assets daily. All right. Again, this is another one of those slides I'm going to pause on if you take nothing else away from this. Fucking screenshot this, print it, stick it up on your wall, live it, breathe it, read it every single day. Okay. Here's what most people do, right? Most people exchange every day energy for money over and over and over again. And we do this our whole lives. We only have so much energy in a given day, in a given week, in a given month, in a given quarter, in a given year. So we cap out. Okay? The real secret, everyone talks about passive income, blah, 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 blah. Here's the secret to making more and working less is we take that same equation that everybody else is following, energy, money, energy, money, energy, money. We put an extra little step in the middle. Energy into assets into money. Okay, now I'm not talking just about like going and buying real estate. That's a type of asset. Sure. You're putting money, energy into the asset creates more money, right? Which ultimately creates freedom. I'm talking about assets in your business, right? And then we let those assets generate the cash flow. In the world that I play in, this is things like courses. This is video presentations like this that can work around the clock. I film it once, it can be seen by a lot of people, right? Getting my story into other people's platforms. That's what OPP stands for, right? I've got trainings that I did years ago that bring me leads still to this day because I invested 60 minutes. It was really good. They recorded it. They put it inside their members area and it brings me people every day, right? Relationships are assets. right? Now, we don't want to approach them with what can I get out of this dynamic, but if you put the energy into building those relationships, that's people in your network who will go out and bat for you. That's people in your network who will go and tell other people about you. That ultimately, without you doing anything extra, creates exponential growth, exponential income, which leads to freedom, right? Affiliates, advocates for your brand, building ads, building team. These are all assets that capture your energy and then multiply it out so that we aren't constantly doing things over and over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. I put a little image here on the side, which you might have been reading while I was just talking, but this talks about this 1 hour workday concept. Liana asked me the other day, she said, how much do you have to do? And it boils down to like an hour. Now I work more than that because I want to, because I love it, because I enjoy it, but I have to about an hour, which is because of building these assets across the board in my marketing, in my sales process, in my delivery, and how the whole thing comes together. Okay, print this, put it on the wall, live it, breathe it, immerse yourself in it. It'll change your life. All right. Number 8, over invest in your environment. All right, be inspired daily. That little image is from my balcony just out here, literally just outside my office. That is what I look at from my desk in my home office. Okay, if you wake up every day and you hate where you live, it's going to be very, very hard to be successful. Okay, now I know there's a period initially where you've got to get moving. That's fine. I appreciate that. But once you start building momentum, once you start implementing, overinvest in your environment. If you wake up every day and you fucking love where you live, right? Every time Liana and I drive into the driveway, we're like, oh, it's so good to be home. We love this place. We love it, right? That will make you more money than it will ever cost you. Because every day you get up, I walk down the hall, and you almost like forget while you sleep. And then I see this view and I'm like, holy shit. It's like being on a cruise ship. Like when you sit at a certain spot in the living room, you can't see anything. All you can see is water, right? That motivates you, right? You want to be excited to come home. You want to live how most people go on vacation, right? We literally get excited on our vacations to come home because that's how much we love this place. So I'm not saying go and get yourself in debt. I'm not, ignoring the fact that there's going to be an early phase for some people where you can't love what you live and you've got to do the groundwork. Do that. But then when you're in momentum, do not neglect your environment. It will provide a huge, huge, huge ROI. Okay, we're moving along. Number 9, move, build, create, get out, and be inspired again to unlock new levels. Okay, now this is for those times. I mean, this is for always. Right? Like you want to keep moving, you want to keep building, you want to keep creating, getting out there. I've said that. But in those moments where things aren't going the way you want them to, and it's not always going to be perfect, right? Honestly, I'm nearly 7 months into being a dad, and the last 7 months have been unbelievable and amazing. But I've been working through some challenges in terms of how do I balance that with running and growing a business. It's going to present challenges. It's a huge shift in life, right? My sleep's changed. My priorities have changed. I want to be there as much as I can, but I also know I need to keep the business ticking along, right? And I do my best to integrate it all like I spoke about at the start, but it still presents challenges. And that can become really heavy if you let it. And so this is what I do when those moments hit. I move, I build, I create, I get out, and I get inspired again to unlock new levels, okay? In the moments where you lack clarity, if you feel lost, if you're confused, if you have doubt, move. The action will cure everything. And I mean move in terms of physically move. I mean move in terms of like get out and get shit done. So you can see down here, this is just a little example, right? I just locked in a C-suite leadership specialist to come in and talk to my inner circle. Get out and make stuff happen. The momentum will provide the path. The momentum will provide the clarity, right? Get out and be inspired. This is just a nice spot. Liana and I went to dinner the other night with my parents, but don't just sit inside at your computer scratching your head. I'm guilty of this, right? When I'm trying to figure something out and I can't quite crack it, that's my initial reaction, is to just sit there and go like fuck, I can't work it out. But the action, getting out, moving, making stuff happen is what ultimately always brings me back to the path. Okay. And moving is more important than having the direction perfect. Like it's more important to act and to move than to know the perfect direction, right? There's an analogy that I got from a mentor named Travis. He said, you can't steer a parked car, right? Get into movement, then steer it. Another analogy is if you've ever ridden jet skis, if you're going along, right? And let's say you're going really fast and you need to turn, but you don't have your finger on that throttle, that jet ski doesn't turn. It keeps going straight. It has to have power down. You power down, you turn, it'll move, it'll flick, and it'll go quick, right? But get into motion again, and the path will present itself, okay? Seasons, all right? Lean into them, and you'll find your flow, okay? If you assume with me for a second that you're going to live to 80, all right? Most people just think it's like, all right, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year. Okay, but it's not. It's broken up into seasons. There's different seasons in business. There's seasons in your family life. There's seasons in your friendships. There's seasons internally in terms of how you look at the world, how you think about yourself, all these kind of things, all right? It's really important to reflect on the season that you're in, what's most important in that season, where you're going, and then lean into it, all right? And this is what I've been going through, right, with my son being born. If you try fight these seasons, you're going to feel out of alignment, you're going to feel anxious, you're going to feel unfulfilled, and you're going to lack clarity. My advice, revisit the previous step that we just covered. But look at life in seasons and understand that you might look back on 3 years ago and go, well, I want to replicate that, but that could have been a different season. You need to lean into the season that you're in now, get back into alignment with that, and then move from there. That's how you will feel like you're in flow. That's how things will feel light and easy again and not heavy and like it's weighing you down. Okay, this is a topic for another day that we can go way deeper into, but I wanted to illuminate that, right? Like, and just a live example for you on the right-hand side. This first picture here is me pretty drunk in my apartment in 2018 when I won the ClickFunnels Dream Car with a couple of buddies. This is me on the right with my son, 6 years later, 5-6 years later. Life changes. Life keeps moving. We're not the same person. We look the same on the outside. Well, not in this case, but we physically are the same person, but mentally we change. Our life changes. We go through seasons, right? So lean into it and find the path that way. All right, we're on to our bonus ones. Document the ride daily and bring people along for the journey. That should say bring them along for the journey. All right. If you aren't already posting stuff daily in some way, shape, or form, start yesterday. Like, do it now is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, bring an audience along for the ride, even if it's only a few people to start. Build in public, set goals, and then execute on them, and then literally like give people updates along the way. It's really, really, really inspiring. If you do that and you do it over and over again, and you pick a North Star, hit it, pick a North Star and hit it, you become highly, highly magnetic. Okay, don't stress about finding the perfect niche. You are the niche. You are the brand. You are in a market of one. When you lead from the front, you say, hey, I'm going out there to do this thing, and then you keep evolving and growing and have a blast along the way. All right, if you grow the audience and make offers based on your experience, your results, and your skills that you develop, there's no end point. That is the game. If you're having a blast along the way, you're making money, you're growing, you're improving, you're building your network, that's it. You've won, right? Even if there's dips along the way where the numbers aren't stacking up or you're trying to find your way, if you're still in the game, you've won, right? Hopefully that's a little perspective shift. And again, real-time examples. I just pulled a quick screenshot. This is out of my Facebook group, interviewing a dude named Miles, who was the head of the ClickFunnels affiliate program at the time. This is me like when I'd made 20 grand as an affiliate and I was just sharing the shit that I was learning with people. You can see how much younger I look. And that's like me living this double life deep in the corporate world. And then fast forward the photo below is November last year, and I met up with a bunch of my private clients in New York, treated them to this awesome dinner at an amazing restaurant, and things change, right? That's over the space of years, but if you document it daily, really, really cool stuff can happen. Okay? And bonus 12, I want to slow down here for a second. Firstly, if you're still with me, I appreciate you investing this time. I don't take it lightly, and I hope that there's one or several lessons that have been really powerful for you. Enjoy each day. Okay, I know that sounds kind of like a throwaway line, but it is really important. You can enjoy the next 30 years. You don't have to live for 30 years away, or you don't have to live for 30 years' time. Two little quick stories I want to leave you with today. The first one, when my dad was due to retire, he found out he had a condition that was kind of a combination, or is kind of a combination of leukemia and lymphoma. When he was due to retire, he's worked his entire life. He's worked for nearly 50 years. Just as he's coming up on retirement, he gets hit with that. When I heard that and saw it firsthand, it slapped me, right? Now, he's lived a good life. He's enjoyed it. But one of the lessons that I took out of that was we've got to enjoy every day. We can't live for 30 years' time, because you could be on the eve of retirement when it's time to enjoy things, and we get hit with news like that, right? Now, he's managing it. He's doing really well at the moment, which is amazing. But that slapped me, and that taught me to balance enjoying today while still having an eye for the future. You can do both. It is possible, right? And the other little story I want to leave you with, I heard the other day from a gent named Lewis Mocker, who's an Aussie guy, and I'm gonna call it the Mexican fisherman story, and I'll do my best to tell it to you without butchering it too much. There's a Mexican fisherman, and he's in a small town on the coast, and he's just come back one day from being out on the water, and he pulls into port. He's got his fish on the boat, and there's an American investment banker standing, just looking around. He's there on holidays, and he sees these fish on the fisherman's boat, big tuna, right? And he's super impressed by them. He's like, those fish, they're amazing. How long? And he asks him, how long were you out there to catch those fish? And the fisherman says to him, no, not long. I just went out, caught these couple, and I came back. And a little bit confused and perplexed, the American investment banker says to him, he says, well, if you caught that in a short amount of time, why not stay out longer? Catch more. And the fisherman says to him, he goes, well, I just go out and catch what I need to support my family. Then I come back, and that's it for the day. Even more perplexed, the banker says to him, he goes, well, then what do you do with the rest of the day? And the fisherman says to him, he says, I live a very, very full life. I spend the mornings with my kids. Then I spend time with my wife. I go out fishing for a little bit. I come home. I have dinner with my family. And at night, I walk into town. I drink wine. I play guitar with my friends. Right? And then I sleep like a baby. Right? The American banker hears this, and he says, yeah, but if you spent more time out there on the water, you could make more money. And then if you bought more money, you could buy a bigger boat. And then with that bigger boat, you can make even more money and buy more boats. Right? Then you could, stop selling your fish to an intermediary, and you could kind of take over the whole supply chain. You could build, a huge enterprise out of this. Look at the quality of these fish that you've caught in such a short period of time. Because look, but you might have to move to like LA or New York or move away in order to do that, but you'd build a huge business, right? Don't you see the potential? And the fisherman looks at him and he goes, and then what? He says, well, you could list it on the stock exchange. You could float it, and you could be incredibly, incredibly rich and incredibly wealthy. And then the fisherman turns to him again and he says, and then what? And he says, well, with all that money, then you could retire, and you could move and live by the water. You can spend time with your family. You can hang out with your friends. You can drink good wine at night, and love your life. And it's funny because it just comes full circle. And he says, well, that's everything that I get to do right now. And I heard that story recently from Lewis, and that hit me like a ton of bricks as well, right? Because it aligns so perfectly to what I've been aiming to build. Yeah, your progress might be a bit slower if you don't work 12 hours a day, or you spend money on, spend more money on rent, or you buy the car, or you buy the watch, or, it's not all perfect by the kind of hustle book, but it could be all over tomorrow, right? And so for me, it's about finding both, putting some away for the future, to making sure that we're building that nest egg for me, for my son, for Liana. But it's also about enjoying the day-to-day, because tomorrow is not guaranteed, right? And here's the really cool thing. I think if you do that and you enjoy the day-to-day more, you'll make more money, you'll be a better leader, your audience and your brand will grow, and it all feeds back on itself. Okay, so that's my final tip, is enjoy each day. Enjoy the next 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, however old you are, and don't live for 30 years into the future, because it may not come. All right. That was a long one. I need some water. I appreciate you hanging out with me. These principles have been critical to getting me to where I am today. And I hope you can take one or multiple of them away and use them in your own business, in your own life, and they have a positive impact. I appreciate you hanging out with me in this video. I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.